All right, let's get it going, you all. Mario 3, 80% Warpless by Stewie Cartman, commentated by the Haxor.
Everybody, I'm the Haxor, and as Big John mentioned, we've got a Super Mario Bros. 3 80% Warpless run coming up here from Stewie Cartman that I'm very excited to have the opportunity to do some commentary for here. Stewie's a very fantastic runner of this game, actually one of the best in the world, and actually recently set a PB as well, so finally joined the 52 ranks, and he's been doing some practice beforehand for this one, so I expect a really good run here coming out from Stewie. Being that it's any percent Warpless, we're going to get to see a lot of RNG come into play in this run. I'm going to try to get you guys through this run, just give you some info about what's going on here, decisions he's making, route decisions, that sort of stuff. So yeah, man, he joined the 52 club, so congrats to him on that. So yeah, his run should be getting started here any second. Looks like it's getting counted down now, so any second here we'll get started with World 1. So a little background with World 1 here. It's probably, you know, when you're doing a marathon or a race, probably the most nerve-wracking world in the entire game, just because it's really difficult, actually. It's one of the harder worlds in the game, first of all, and then, you know, you kind of always want your runs to get off to a good start, so a good World 1 is really important. So he does a great 1-1 there, actually, and does the turn back over the plant. Perfect. Some runners choose to actually rub on the pipe just to ensure they don't run into the plant, but, you know, Stewie's going for it here. So we get to see 1-2 here. It's kind of a notorious level for a lot of high-level runners because it's really tough to get P-speed early in this level, and it's not entirely in your control. There are some elements of RNG involved that I'm not going to get into, but you can do it absolutely perfect and still, unfortunately, not make it through. So, but he gets the backup P-speed there and makes it through no problem. This is probably the... Ooh, he goes for the waffle jump there. So that's, unfortunately, he gets a little dough tip there and clips in. So normally he'd want to maintain P-speed and grab that leaf. But, you know, he got that clip in and unfortunately lost his P-speed. So he's got to take it the more pedestrian way. But he gets the nice waffle jump there. That is, you know, a little time save and actually really difficult to do because you have to do a specific size of jump in order to make it over without hitting the ceiling. And we see him actually, unfortunately, clipping into the floor in this level as well. That's one of the notorious issues with 1.5 here is clipping in the ceiling or the floor with this tile set. You don't actually clip through it, but you can clip into it and just lose all your momentum. So we see the game give Stewie a little trouble here early on, but honestly, a pretty good World 1, all considering. You know, normally when you see things like that happen, runners aren't expecting it, and they'll take a death or you know, a really bad mistake will occur. So you know, Stewie's just keeping calm and chugging on here. We got 1-6 here. This is actually a really cool P-speed strat in this level, and oh, he unfortunately bonks the step there, but he's gonna get it here, and you get to skip that auto-scroller section at the end there by getting the P-speed. So, you know, it's a pretty significant time saving. You definitely want to be able to do it. And it looks like he's taken that leap of faith there on the Koopa, but, you know, he's run this game thousands of times, so he knows what he's doing exactly. So it's worth noting, he fought the Hammer Bro before 1-6, so he had to do one extra move into the castle, and that actually affects the boss pattern we're going to see here from our first Koopaling in the game, Larry. So it's all dependent on how much time it takes you from when you complete the last level of the world to when you enter the pipe on the airship. So you have to have a lot of knowledge of what's going to, you know, come up next when you're, you know, beating the world from different places. So he knows exactly what he's getting for the most part with this pattern. You can get some interesting one-shots here, but yeah, you know, so this is going to be one of the patterns in World 1. And the other one is obviously when you fight the bro after 1-6. We're going to actually see Hammer Bros start to come into play in next world. They'll make a major difference in terms of routing decisions first and foremost, and also RNG. So one of the rules of Mario 3 is you want to fight the least amount of hammer bros possible, but you also want to always fight things like clouds and hammers. And, you know, if you have to fight a hammer bro, you tend to prioritize a P-Wing instead of a star. You didn't jump for the wand, so that's actually a good point. It's faster to not jump for the wand in this game because the falling cutscene ends quicker because Mario is closer to the bottom of the screen. The only exception is there's this trick you can do where you can wall jump and catch the wand off screen, and then you'll have the shortest cutscene there, and you get a pretty significant time save from that. But it's really difficult to do and sub-pixel dependent, and you know, just have to do a frame perfect trick as well to get it. And so we see a very nice 2-1 coming out from Stewie there. And we have 2-2 here. This is one of the few levels in the game where you actually don't really get P-speed at all. There is, in most routes anyway, there is a way to get P-speed early here, but you can't get it all the time, at least not without damage boosting. So we really don't go for it. I have seen some people do it if their run's like below a certain pace, but that's about it. So he makes it through, no problem. He had a little trouble with the water there, but had a nice recovery. So we see the fortress here from Stewie. Unfortunately, lost his fire earlier on in World 2 here, so we're going to get our first look at our pal Boom Boom, and he's a mini-boss that we're going to see quite a bit throughout this run. It's much faster to be able to kill him with fire, but, you know, unfortunately, Stewie lost his fire into one, so he's going to have to stomp him, do it the old-fashioned way. So ideally, when you're going through the worlds here, you want to maintain your fire suit for as long as possible, because you get these little time saves, such as fire killing these Boom Booms, fire killing the end world bosses, that sort of stuff. Normally, you don't want to lose fire in World 2 until after you beat the fort. Then it's not such a big deal, because you can always get it back on the airship at the end of this world. And so we went from World 1, which is one of the more difficult worlds in the game, to World 2, which is considered one of the easier worlds in the game. There aren't too many levels in this particular world that are troublesome. A lot of them are fairly free. We see one of them here in 2-3, where, you know, it's not going to give most people very much trouble, especially at the high levels running that level. And we actually get to see the sand level here next with the sun. I know a lot of you that have played the game casually, maybe the sun gave you quite a bit of issue, but honestly, the sun's really easy to deal with. You can do this level the same way every time, and you'll never have to deal with the sun. He'll never get in your way. He always stays on a fixed position on the screen, so you always want to keep moving forward, actually, and just react with jumps. It's the best way to deal with him. You actually start to get in some trouble when you slow down and try to do turnbacks and that sort of thing. So we actually see Stewie doing 2-4 here. He had a little trouble at the beginning getting some jumps, but he's able to recover here and not take a death. That's really key. And no, he gets a nice little you know, intentional clip. That's RNG manipulation for later in the run, guys. You have to believe me. I would never lie to you. But yeah, it's nice sub-pixel. Yeah, usually when that happens, you're like, come on, man. That's sub-pixel. So he actually wants to get the hammer and skip the music box in this world like he just did. And he was able to tell which bro had the hammer there, because the hammer bro with the hammer, after moving, turns left. So we'll use the same concept to identify other bros throughout the run as well. I'll try to point some of those out for you guys. And so if you ever want to play this game, or, you know, speedrun this game, you'll be able to identify some of these hammer bros and make some of the routing decisions you need to make. So he makes it through the pyramid there. That is the most technical stage in World 2, and it's one of the most technical in the game. He has a pretty good pyramid, actually. It's really hard to do that stage optimally, and he was really close there. So Not a bad run coming out from him so far. He's a little behind PB pace, but it's to be expected when you got one shot at it, especially in a category as volatile as any percent warpless, where there's just so many RNG elements that can affect your run. He could have fought that music box, and then he loses 10 seconds there. And we'll see more in World 3, and I'll try to point out some of the things that can happen once we get there, but. As I mentioned, he'll be repicking up this fire flower coming up shortly on this airship. It is worth mentioning at the end of each world, at least worlds 1 through 7, there is an airship that is an auto scroller, and these are the most exciting stages in the game. Look at all these masterful dodges he has to do to get out of the way of all these bullet bills and all these enemies. Just really putting them through the ringer here. Just maximum skill involved here for sure. So as I mentioned in World 1, the boss patterns decided from, where you move from in the world. In World 2, you see another element added to that. The boss patterns actually decided depending on how many movements you get from the Hammer Bro that's remaining as well, or the Hammer Bro or Bros. There's actually 3 Hammer Bros in World 2. You never see the third one in this category. There's a Fire Bro that's on the other side of a block that you have to break with the hammer. But those movements can change the pattern of Morton there. So this is considered one of the more challenging fire kills in the game. And we see him stomp him there, and that's not uncommon. Most of the times in races and marathons, you're going to see players choose to stomp him. So World 3 here, we see 3-1, which is definitely, the most challenging stage in the game for sure. Look at this. This is just all these enemies in his way, all this masterful swimming, just getting this P speed at the top here and jumping to the end. Just really challenging his skills here. But one thing, jokes aside, one thing that we're going to see in World 3 is we could see some really awful RNG come into play in terms of what the Hammer Bros do. We could see a Hammer Bro run away over 3-6, which we term as Runaway Bro, and that's a massive time loss. And we'll come to see, whether or not he gets that. Hopefully he doesn't. But if it does happen, you end up having to take an intentional death to make it over 3-6 because we cloud that level because it's an auto scroller. And we see him make his way through 3-2 here. There is a way to get P speed early in that level. It's very difficult and very technical, but you'll see some runners do that. The Cheeps have some interesting hitboxes sometimes, so you feel fortunate when you make it through that stage as well without taking damage. 3-3 here. This is probably one of the most important P speed maintaining stages in the world here. It's really hard to maintain P speed. He's actually it's really hard to get P speed back once you lose it. We actually see one of the backups there from Stewie, and that's really the only way to get it back once you've lost it, is to hit that P switch. So but he makes it through unscathed. Very important, as I mentioned before, to maintain this fire for this fortress here, because we're going to see our second look at our friend Boom Boom. And he actually goes for door 3 and gets it. So that's actually really exciting, because that is a single frame up input, and you've got to press up the frame before you enter the door in order to enter it. So that's really amazing. You don't see that a whole lot. Great stuff from Stewie. We did discuss it beforehand that he's going to go for it, so I'm really glad that he got to show that off for you guys. That saves... Most people don't go for it because it only saves about 4 seconds, but I mean, the swag, And he's actually going to be safe from Runaway Bro here. So in this world, you want to fight both the bros in the world, because it's going to open the bridge over 3-6 to 3-8. And as I mentioned, you want to cloud over 3-6 to make it to the end of the world. So so yeah, he's going to be fighting this Hammer Bro to get that bridge closed so he's able to cross it. And he also gets a useful item in this world, the hammer that he's going to use. In that one, he's going to use in World 6. So he's already got one, and this is his second hammer. So this is probably, for a lot of casual players, another notorious stage with the boss Bass. He does respawn, and he's the only instant kill enemy in any Mario game that I can recall, that I've ever played. So if he does swallow you, you actually just die, even if you are full on upgrades. So he can be kind of brutal, actually. So he does a great job avoiding him there. It's fairly easy too, because we can predict what he does based on how well we do the stage. But if you ever make any mistakes, obviously things can get a little interesting. So this is one of the most important things in this world to hit is the H jump, which we see him do there. Great stuff from Stewie. That's definitely a little nerve-wracking when you get to this stage to hit that. Saves a very significant amount of time, so I'm glad he was able to hit that. And so he's going to make his way onto the World 3 airship next. And I don't think I've heard of anybody that ever enjoyed the Koopaling that we're going to see on this airship in any Mario game, really. We're going to see Wendy here. Interesting thing about this fight is she's different than most of the Koopalings with what she does with her wand. She actually spawns rings that are not removed at any point on the map. So if you end up with a long fight, you get more and more rings on the map, and you're much more likely to die because they're really hard to dodge. So this is one of the first fire kills that most runners learn in this game, because it just makes this fight so much easier to kill her with fire. The stomping, you can still stomp her obviously, but it's actually much more difficult to stomp her than it is to beat her with fire. So it's really important that you get to this airship with fire, actually. So yeah, this boss pattern actually doesn't get changed at all in any category of this game. It's always going to be the same. You always do this fire kill one way, and hope you don't miss any fireballs, of course. So yeah, pretty good Wendy kill coming out from Stewie there. And he'll be making his way onto Big World here, which for most people is probably their favorite world in the game. At least what I hear from most people is they love World 4, the giant world. And we get to see one of the most visually pleasing stages to speedrun in the game, actually, in World 4 here. And we'll try to point that out and talk about it a little bit. Yeah. Endearingly also referred to as Thick World. Absolutely. So yeah, I'm interested to see. I think Stewie generally does shell strat here for P speed in this stage, and so yeah, we're gonna see him bop the shell and use it to get P speed. There is another slightly riskier way to get P speed here. Oh. So he actually gets the P speed, unfortunately takes some damage, and actually does a nice job maintaining it all the way to the end and not dying. When that stage goes haywire, if you notice, there's a lot of gaps. So a lot of times you end up dying, and it was just a great job from him to prevent that from happening. It does make this stage a little trickier, so we're going to see him use that block to take out that piranha plant. Normally, with the fire suit, you can kill one of the Koopas and then grab that block and despawn that first piranha plant and then use that block to jump through the next one. But since he does not have the fire, he had to do a backup there, and he does it beautifully. So the stage I was talking about that most people really like watching is this one for speedrunning. So let's see if he can maintain P speed through here. So he's got it there. That's probably the hardest part, is just maintaining at the beginning here. And oh, unfortunately jumped a little early there. So he wasn't quite able to make it through. And he's going to make it through the stage alive, though. So that's important. No deaths yet. So it is going to make 4-4 a little more difficult here. And we'll see him use that first hammer that he picked up in World 2 coming up here. Oh, Sorry, he's got to take out the cloud. Actually, he hadn't taken out the cloud yet because he got some great RNG with the cloud moving left. So, and then he got a nice marathon. So that hammer bro that's next to 4-4 is actually the star hammer bro in this world, and I know that because he faced left after moving. The bro with the P-wing actually will face right. So he definitely wants to skip that one if he can. And my guess is he'll probably music box here, I would assume. Most runners will choose to do that because he's not going to be able to skip the hammer bro on the screen transition, unfortunately. So, yeah, nice job, mate. That stage is really, really scary when you're small because your timing just gets off when that happens. So he's going to wait here at the beginning. Normally you would fire kill his first Koopa, but he waits there slightly in order to get under him without dying. And he's going to grab this mushroom and grab the star from that block there and do this nice backup strat that we don't get to see a whole lot. So good stuff. He's able to get that big Mario back that he needs, and he's going to actually pick up fire again in this next fortress. So because he music boxed, he actually is going to be guaranteed to skip that hammer bro, and hopefully the hammer bro moves left because we'll get to see how he skips the hammer bro on a screen transition, which is kind of cool. You get a single frame to do an input in order to skip a hammer bro on the screen transition. However, a cool part about a screen transition is you can buffer your movement to move frame perfectly after it. And so if he moves left, we'll get to see that happen. Actually, he faced right, so of course he's moving right. So nix everything I said. But, you know, as I mentioned in the previous worlds, he's going to use this knowledge of what movement he got there to determine what boss pattern he's going to get on this airship when he fights Iggy here. This is the most notorious probably airship in the entire game in terms of it's the slowest moving auto scroller in the entire game. It's not the longest in terms of total time, but the screen scroll is half speed of a normal auto scroller. So we get this not actually all that long auto scroller, but we get to see it for twice as long, unfortunately. So this is the resident sleeper moment of the entire run, but you get a nice 2-minute break to relax and, you know, just screw around on a corkscrew here over flames. You know, it's a circus right now. He's doing a circus act for us. You know, you get to kill some rocky wrenches here. It's just a fun time. So being that he's used his music box here in World 4, he's going to hope to get lucky in World 5. So there's 2 lower bros in World 5 at, you know, in the area where he spawns in. And he wants to fight the P-Wing there only. So the one that's lower than, or yeah, the one that's lower than the other bro is going to be the one with the P-Wing, and that's one he wants to prioritize, and he wants to skip the star bro. So he's going to hope to get some good RNG here. It's kind of tough to get good RNG in World 5, so we'll see what happens. But you know, he's had good RNG so far, so hopefully it can continue for him. Yeah, as I mentioned, it's just a really RNG heavy run, so we're not even close to done with the RNG before the end of this one. It can really influence the run a whole lot, you know. It can change like the run by at least 2 minutes. And so he gets the fire kill there. He had a little trouble, but that's the hardest fire kill in the game, in my opinion, is the movement into Iggy fire kill. Because Iggy runs up and he jumps really quickly, so it's hard to get the fireball shots into him that you need to finish him off. So the fact they maintain fire there is really good. He'll be very happy with that, actually. And so he's moving on to World 5, which is the Sky World, and this is probably the most, well, it looks like the most nerve-wracking world in the game, and for most people, it's the most difficult. A lot of that has to do with the RNG aspect. Like I mentioned, there's a lot of hammer bros in this world, and they can give you some really nasty movements that lose a lot of time. So that's one thing I haven't mentioned is you want to get the most movement of one movements from hammer bros that you can possible. Obviously, sometimes it can't be avoided because they move over levels or they do certain things, or they switch and they give you extra movements. So each one of those extra movements is actually going to cost you half a second. So over the course of the run, that can add up and be a lot of time if you're getting really bad movements from the hammer bros. And so movement or worlds like this, where there's a lot of hammer bros, that's a really big deal, and it can really influence the time by quite a bit as a result. Has a really nice 5-2 there. There's a pit at the beginning of that world, or that stage, I mean, that you don't want to fall into. You end up in the lower section, and it's actually faster to die and redo the stage if that happens, because it takes so much time. So really nice stuff coming out from Stewie here. And this is the first kind of scary stage in the game where you see that ragu pool at the beginning. They got to do the turn back on to make over. So nice stuff there, not falling in. And yeah, you can actually clip on that stage as well and fall out of it. Definitely don't want to do that. So yeah, we'll see what the Hammer Bros give Stewie here. So that's unfortunately not the movement he was looking for. So he's going to have to fight both of them here. Yeah, he was hoping for a switch and then the star to move up, but unfortunately, you know, they had other plans. So he's already fought one extra Hammer Bro here. It's pretty standard luck, I would say, to fight an extra Hammer Bro. We just consider an extra Hammer Bro because it's one outside of the route. We get to see another very technical stage here, the tower in World 5. It's really important to make it in these pipes with P-speed, especially in this room, so you can make it past this swamp without taking damage, and really quickly, of course, without waiting. And as we noted there, he had a little trouble getting in that vertical pipe with the P-speed. That's just kind of one of the aspects of vertical pipes in this game. They're really hard to enter. So... but he's making it through nicely. He didn't take any damage, and it's fairly quick, so no big deal. And we see the vine here. It's the only vine in the entire game you climb, so later vine. We won't be seeing you again. This is another one of those stages I'm talking about. It looks really treacherous. So, oh, he actually clips into the spinner there. So if you land towards the center of the spinners, you'll actually clip into him like he did there. And the fact that he was able to recover is impressive. He's recovered a lot on a lot of these mistakes that for most people would cause a death. So he's probably shaking a little bit after that, but he made it through no problem. So great stuff, Stewie. Keep it up, man. So yeah, that'll happen every time, that clip, if you land towards the center of a spinner that spins. Just let you know, that wasn't even subpixel related or anything. So that's just, yeah, that's just part of it, unfortunately. So you got to try to land on the ends. So we saw him make it through 5-5 there. There's an early P-speed strat that's really difficult in that level. That requires some really precise movement. Wasn't able to get it there, but he gets the nice strat here in 5-7. Not a super easy strat either. And he definitely wants to maintain this fire, as I mentioned, because he has a fortress coming up here. And so 5-7 is really the only fast fire flower grab in this entire world. So if he takes damage after that, it's actually a huge deal and influences the run by quite a bit. So good stuff, making it through 5-4-2 here. Another one of those scary levels where you're jumping on those single tile blocks over Ragu. And he makes it out no problem. He's going to choose to fight this Hammer Bro because this has a music box, and he's going to use this music box later on in World 7. So we'll see that come into play later. There is a way you can actually skip this Hammer Bro with the music box, but you have to not use your music box that you get from the airship on World 3. So It's very rare for that to happen, but it is a possible outcome as well. Since he's fought all the Hammer Bros here, he's actually going to get a fire kill here for Roy. But it requires him to get to his cloud quickly and not bump on any of his movements. We'll see how well he's able to do this menuing here. And he does a great job there, so he should get a fairly easy fire kill here for Roy. Although, I would never call any fire kill easy for Roy. Anybody that's ever watched any of my runs knows that, you know, disasters happen in Roy's airship. That's all I'm going to say. He's our first thick Koopaling, as I call them, because he will do this animation where when he stomps the ground, he actually stuns you if you're also on the ground at the time. So you definitely want to be jumping and timing his jumps in order to not get stunned. This is actually a pretty nice and smooth airship. It's one of the shortest in the game. I think World 1 is shorter, but this one I think is actually the second shortest. So you get a nice reprieve in World 5 here from the auto-scrollers. Although this is one of the more treacherous airships in the game because you got all these bullets, all these cannonballs and all these bullet bills just flying all over the map. So yeah, we'll get our look at the Roy pattern here that he gets, and we'll see what he chooses to do. And oh my goodness, okay. So really bad luck there, actually. God, that was such bad luck. So he didn't do anything wrong, and he took damage. And the reason he took damage is so when enemies are moving at a certain velocity and you hit them, for some reason the collision doesn't trigger and you'll end up taking damage, and you'll see that with Cheep Cheeps all the time in World 3 as well. So unfortunately he hit Roy at the exact bad time to trigger a damage animation. So a little unfortunate break for Stewie there, but he'll be able to do a nice backup here in 6 Fort 1 when he gets to it. Although this Hammer Bro at the beginning here, since he doesn't have fire anymore, oh, he's gonna start. That's a good choice. He's got the extra star. Of course, he gives him a lower pattern because that's what this Hammer Bro does. So I was gonna mention, you know, whenever you fight him without fire, it gives you the lower pattern, which it is still faster, but it's definitely scarier. So yeah, he's gonna grab this leaf here, and this is the backup. So he's gonna double damage boost here over this spike section, and we're gonna actually see him grab a star in this room right here. And the reason he grabs this star is he's gonna run to the end. Oh goodness, he takes a death. That's unfortunate. Just mistimed the jump there a little bit, but he's gonna use the P-Wing. All right, be interested to see what he chooses to do. So he's gonna have to change his route a little bit. So he's gonna clip either 7-6 now, or he's going to wall jump 6-9. So we'll see what he chooses to do. Yeah, he gets a second attempt here. This time he grabs the star. That's what he meant to do the first time, guys. We'll ignore the first thing happened. So first try right here, instant kill on the Boom Boom. So yeah, the whole reason he's able to do that is he triggers an overkill on the Boom Boom by running into him with the star, because the Boom Boom takes so many ticks of damage in a short amount of time that he just instantly gets converted to that orb, and the upside down orb occurs. So we see 6-4 here. There is a kind of a scary P-speed strat you can do in this level to get early P-speed that saves about a second, but it's a frame perfect jump you have to do on one of the blocks, and it's not the first frame, it's actually second frame on the block. So sometimes it's kind of hard to tell if you got it or not. So yeah, he's going to use a P-Wing here in 6-5. And you need to beat this. You need at least a tail to beat this level. So the fastest way is to do it with a P-Wing. He's going to try to get to the right fast enough, and he does it. So there's normally 2 nippers there, and he actually despawns one of the nippers to get through this level optimally. So great stuff from Stewie there, actually. And he's going to be able to tell which Hammer Boy he wants to fight here, because the cloud is going to turn left after moving. So that one right above him is the one he wants. and he's gonna hope this other Hammer Bro doesn't choose to move into him, because when Hammer Bros are next to each other, they have a tendency to do that, and it's the only time they'll move into you. And sure enough, get some fantastic RNG. Thank you, Mario 3. But actually, honestly, of all the extra Hammer Bros in the game, that one loses the least amount of time, because he's not going to have to deal with bro movements after each stage here throughout the end of World 6. So the Hammer Bro only loses about 6 or 7 seconds as a result. Not a big deal. And he uses his tail to damage boost here through the fort and does a great job making it through fairly optimally. So now we're going to see whether he chooses to wall jump in 6-9, or he chooses to go 6-10 fire route, or if he chooses to clip 7-6. So I'm interested to see what he chooses here. So we'll probably be able to tell if he maintains this upgrade in this level. I'm assuming at that point he's going to go 6-10. Unfortunately, he gets frame ruled there, trying to get the P speed from the leg. So that's just the way the game is sometimes, you know. Good old Mario 3. So he does maintain his upgrade. I'm assuming he's going to probably play 6-10 here and grab fire. And sure enough, we get to see it. I can't remember if if he's going to do the P speed strat. Oh, unfortunate that he takes some damage there. So he can get another mushroom here, which he's going to choose to do. Good stuff. And then he can get a fire flower from that block right there. And now he's going to try to maintain this through the end of the world. It's going to allow him to fire kill this last boom boom. Normally, you wouldn't do this, but because he had to use an extra P-Wing in 6-4-1, he's got to do this different route, so... So yeah, obviously, because he's got this fire flower, this fort's going to be a little faster than normal, assuming he gets a fire kill on the boom boom. And then he can actually get a fire kill on Lemmy if he goes for it too. Oh, takes a little bit of damage there on the Thwomp. It's all right. He'll just have to do the rest of the world normally now. But it is really important for him to maintain his big Mario to World 7, because we're going to see one of the most infamous stages in the entire run coming up right away. 7-1. Those of you that are familiar with it know that runners clip through 7-1 in order to skip the stage. And obviously, if you do it first try, it's the fastest you can possibly do it, but you're kind of at the mercy of subpixels. So there is somewhat of execution component as well, but there's definitely a huge subpixel component to it. So hopefully he gets some good RNG here and is able to get it first try. Hopefully we see a first try. So I want you guys to get your guesses in. Tell me how many tries you think it's going to take Stewie to clip through 7-1. Oh yeah, everybody's going with 1. 14 products. Come on, man. All right. Don't put that stink on him. Don't do that. It's going. Oh, and he gets the swag clip. That clip just saved the entire run. Just saved like so much time, like 2 minutes easily. No, it saves nothing, but you just kind of get to relax here for this section and wait for the stage to scroll. Most runners are like, dang it, I just wasted the clip when they get that one, but that's not really how it works. So just because he got that clip doesn't mean he won't get the next one too. So yeah, this is the easiest boss kill in the game because you just stomp on him at the predetermined intervals and grab your wand, get out of World 6, and make your way to this world. Probably, well, this world and World 8 decide the most runs in this category for sure at the highest level, because as we mentioned, we have the subpixel based 7-1, and then also, you know, you can potentially do 7-9 as well, and there's more clips in that stage. Those of you that have watched 100% runs know there's a 7-7 clip. So yeah, it's pipe world, but in reality, it's clip world. So we're going the clip world here. So let's see how many tries it takes him. All right, 1. He's got a second there. Come on. Send him your energy, chat. Come on, Subpixel. Come on, Subpixel. There it is. All right, not too bad. I think that was 7 or 8 tries. So 9. Okay, it was 9. All right. So good stuff. A little worse than average. He definitely didn't get favorable RNG there, but you know, when you're in a marathon, that stage is just scary. You just want to make it out of there. So he feels a lot of relief right now getting out of there, and we get to see him use one of his stars here to make it through this stage, and gets a little unfortunate RNG at the end there. A lot of times that Piranha Plant despawns and you can make it through without taking damage, but he takes some damage there. It doesn't really necessarily cost anything. It's just the transformation time from going from Big Mario to small, which isn't insignificant, but you know, it's not run deciding. It does make this next stage a little scarier because he can't damage boost here if he misses one of the jumps. So good stuff. He's able to jump off that Koopa without taking damage, and he should be able to make it through the stage no problem from this point. So outside of those clip stages, a lot of the stages in this world are, you know, not technically difficult. You got this one, not super technically difficult. 7-2 is a little bit, because getting the P speed at the beginning can be tricky. But for someone that's done as many runs as Stewie, obviously it's no big deal. So we're going to see Cloud 7-4. That's the notorious water auto-scroller that most people consider the worst level in the game, and I agree with them. And we get to see the empty fortress, 7-Fort-1 here. It's like Bowser just started giving up. He didn't put any enemies in here. He just has one Boom Boom at the end guarding it, and that's it. So yeah, obviously we use one of our P-Wings that we grabbed earlier in the run here. 7-6, we also use a P-Wing here, and he's just going to fly. This is honestly the toughest stage in the game. I mean, look at the technical skill it takes to beat this stage. Unbelievable stuff. Great execution from Stewie. The optimal 293. Let's go. So we're going to see 7-8. This is one of the more technical stages in this world. So yeah, we see him damage boost there, and he's going to run through with a star, and he's going to try to maintain his upgrades to the end here. So these Patuis, as they're called, the Piranha Plants that are spitting the spike balls, they actually are on a timer, a stage timer, as well as the fire nippers at the end there. So if you make it through as fast as possible, the fire nippers at the end will not shoot fire at you, and the Patuis will never hit you with a spike ball. So really great 7-8 there, actually, from Stewie. So we're going to see him go for the clips here. This is good stuff. We'll see how many tries, and you'll get your taste of 7-9 and why it's just an amazing stage. Every Mario 3 runner loves this stage. It's just so amazing. I mean, look at all this great stuff going on right now. Look at all this time he's saving, just clipping through the stage, and definitely not getting unlucky at all. Definitely has the right subpixel. Every one of these clips. Oh yeah. Getting kind of stuck in a baby jail there, so he's going to go for this gap clip. Forgoes it says, all right, I've got my 2 clips. I'm getting out of here. So making his way out. So the reason a lot of people dislike this stage, you have to make it through the stage with the 4 clips in 8 attempts in order to save any time over a stage you would skip, which I think he's going to skip. Yeah, he's going to skip the Fort in World 8. So he's going to choose to grab the star here. and run through this stage. Nice, nice safety strat that he's really comfortable with. There is a faster way of making it through. Takes a little damage there, unfortunately. That's fine. He can re-grab fire on the airship, so he's just going to do a backup strat. So he's got a backup for his backup. You always got to have multiple levels of backup, guys. You never know what is going to happen. When the speedrun's slower than the casual, yeah. Unfortunately, 7-9 is one of those stages that, you know, when you're trying to speedrun it, can end up slower than just running through it normally. So yeah, as I mentioned, he's going to be able to re-grab his fire on the airship here. Not a big deal. But I'm glad he was able to showcase some extra RNG for you guys that a lot of people may choose to skip. So getting our money's worth here. Just getting to understand, you know, how much RNG really affects this run. But it's a really fun category, actually. You know, you get to see a high variance in strats, and it's a lot shorter than 100%, and you skip most of the auto scrollers in the game until World 8, and obviously the airships at the end of the world. So it's definitely a very cool category. But yeah, obviously, being that's a Mario 3 category, it just is what it is. So I saw him practicing a Ludwig fire kill. And this is who we're going to see at the end of this airship. He is the second of the thick Koopalings. So again, he's going to have that stunning animation when he hits the ground. So you want to be sure that you're not on the ground when he finishes his jump. But Stewie's going to attempt to fire kill him here, I think, which will save a little bit of time. It is worth mentioning that if you were to get a hammer suit from one of the stages, it would be in this world as well. You can get it from 7-8. We see a lot of runners opt to do that, and it just changes up the route a little bit. It makes the Bowser kill faster, makes certain stages faster, certain stages like this one slower, because, you know, hammer suit can unfortunately not affect the Koopalings. So this is actually also the longest auto scroller in the game. Unfortunately, having a little trouble with the fireballs there, but he does get a fire kill. Wasn't the one he was looking for, but he got it. So good stuff. Good stuff from Stewie. And so those of you that are familiar with the game, we're coming up on probably the biggest run deciding part of the category, which is the hands. So they're called the hands because there's a hand animation that can pull you into the stage and force you to play it. It is possible to get pulled in by none of the stages, and that's called no hands. And if you're pulled in by all 3 stages, unfortunately, you lose 1 minute and 4 seconds if you play them optimally. So again, that's one of those RNG elements that can really influence a run. So the chance of getting no hands is actually 12.5%, or 1 in 8, because each hand has a 50-50 chance of getting pulled in. So hopefully we get to see no hands. That would be hype. Door 3, no hands, same run. That'd be good stuff. So I need you guys to get your prayers out for Stewie here. Get those bless RNGs in chat ready. We're going to have a long ride to the hands first, though. This is one of the longer auto-scrollers in the game as well. The first tank in World 8 here. It's one of the auto-scrollers you really have to pay attention to as well, because there's a lot of stuff going on in it. So it's you know, obviously for him it's pretty free because he's used to running through the stage, but you don't want to stop paying attention for like a split second and then, you know, end up losing your run because you take damage from a cannonball or a bomb or something of that nature. So we see him choosing to kill off these bombs here to prevent lag from occurring on the screen. So when too many sprites end up on the screen, the game starts to lag. So by killing those, he saves a little bit of time. Gotta always save the frames, guys. And we'll see another RNG element here at the end of this auto-scroller. There is a boomerang bro, and if he's lucky enough, he'll get a rangless kill. Unfortunately, the bro moved backwards. So generally that's, you know, good RNG. But if you have a fire flower, if he moves forward and slowly throws the boomerang, you can actually kill him off before he throws it, and that's the fastest way to make it through. But yeah, he kind of got a rough pattern there. He moved backwards, but it was kind of a slow toss. And we make our way to the Navy here. Believe it or not, you can actually swim under these boats. I don't suggest it because honestly, this stage isn't too bad going on top, but if you do have some problems with it, you can always swim under it as well. But there's not too much going on here. We got some rocky wrenches that respawn that he's going to kill off here. Make sure those wrenches aren't on the screen. The potential for damage. And just kind of having some fun, bopping some moles. So yeah, we're getting closer, guys. We'll see if he chooses to do boat swag here or not. And Stewie going for boat swag, getting some pretty good boat swag there. Actually, he's got some very nice boat swag going on. So he's definitely getting no hands this run because of the boat swag. I mean, the RNG gods have to be pleased by that performance. So let's go. Let's see what the hands do. All right, here we are. What are we getting? And the 95% hand. The inside joke is this is the 95% hand because you just get it every run. It's honestly the worst hand too. Just yeah, hand one. It's a bad feeling when you get hand one. All right, the 3-hand dream is still alive. That's still a 12.5% chance. So technically he's getting lucky, just not the luck he wants if that happens. So apparently the RNG gods were displeased by his boat swag. He's gonna have to work on that for his next runs that he does in the category, unfortunately. And yeah, here we go. Of course. Of course. And yeah, as I mentioned, he's going to lose a minute 4 here because he got 3 hands. But bonus for us is we get to see all these extra levels, guys. Think of it that way. I mean, look at all this beautiful whatever. I mean, I don't know what hand 2 is supposed to be. You just kind of jump to the end. It's like they kind of gave up on stages when they made that one or something. But I mean, you know, so they added Cheap Cheeps jumping out of Ragu. I can't think of anything more terrifying in terms of Mario 3 than Cheap Cheeps jumping out of Ragu. And we have it here in World 8. So yeah, he got lucky, guys. He just didn't get the right kind. He'll have a good laugh about this one when it's over, for sure. So yeah, you know, as we've seen throughout this run, a lot of these components really affect the times you can get in this category. At this point, just based on the RNG he's got in this run alone, he would not be able to PB. He's just gotten way too bad of RNG. But good news for us is, again, we get to see more of the game, so... Yeah, most people would save their P-Wings for this world because, you know, for a casual player, these auto-scrollers are really difficult. But for, you know, someone like Stewie that's played through this game so many times, they're not all that challenging. Unfortunately, he tries to do the star strat there, but gets a nice backup P-speed. So if you use the star there, you don't want to rub on any of those pipes. Otherwise, he won't be able to make it in time to get P-speed early, but he is able to get the backup, so very nice stuff. And we get to see our second look at the sun here in 8-2. This is Mitch Flower Power's favorite stage. It definitely always goes really well for him. So yeah, there is a little bit of RNG involved with that sun in terms of the pattern that it gives you, so hopefully All right, nice. Stewie's able to determine what he's getting and change what he was doing appropriately in order to avoid it. So great stuff. So he's got this cloud that he's going to use to cloud the fort there. So we won't get to see 8 fort. Good stuff. This is actually not too bad of a run, considering 3 hands, a million tries at 7-1, and gets a nice little swag there. Bump up on the top of the auto scroller. For those of you that don't know, you can do that. You can, in fact, do that. Yeah, this run looks like it's like a 55 minute time currently. But we'll see what happens, you know? You can't count your chickens before they hatch, guys. Anything can happen. This is any percent Warpless. And the NE stands for anything can happen. Bowser's Castle, you know, has been known to end runs on occasion, so... So yeah, this is the final auto-scroller of the game, before we get into Bowser's Castle here. And we get one last look at our friend Boom Boom. Just, the guy had no chance at any point in this run. I really feel bad for him. You know, Boom Boom just really trying to do his best, and Stewie just being a bully here. He's actually going for the task clip. Oh, doesn't get it. So he's going to go back out and do the stage normally. So, uh-oh. Oh, no. Okay. So, that's not the worst thing. That's not the worst thing. That's not the worst thing. We're going to get to see something very cool. We get to see more SMB3 hitboxes at work here in the Bowser kill. Normally, obviously, you'd want to maintain fire and fire kill him, but we're going to get to see Bowser's happy, fun hitbox. Mad respect to him for going for that. Nice stature and piece speed. That's actually quite difficult. So here we are, the unveiling of Bowser's hitbox. And there it is. He can only hit you with his head. So, yeah. As long as he stays ducked there. He might get hit by a fireball, but as Small Mario, you should never really worry about getting hit. But yeah. Nice hitbox Bowser. Just has no chance here. So, Stewie choosing to face his enemy. Stewie? What's going on, buddy? Alright, he makes it through. A little scarier than it should have been. Showing off a little bit for the crowd, you know? No fear. You know, mess with the bull, get the horns, man. You know, Bowser's got horns. So yeah, nice run from Stewie here. It's going to be a 56-48, it looks like. Definitely had a lot of unfortunate RNG, but it was definitely a really entertaining run. So yeah, this has been Super Mario Brothers 3 NE% Warpless. I hope you guys enjoyed watching this. Hope you enjoyed the commentary, learned some things, and hope some of you are inspired to maybe give the game a shot. So yeah, again, it's Stewie Cartman is the runner, and make sure to give him a follow if you want to see high quality runs of this game. But as for me, that should be it, and I'll be handing it back over to Big John here in a moment. So I hope you guys have a great evening.
I mean, seriously, all them doggone clips. What in the world? I mean, really, clips, and more clips. No Twitch involvement needed on that one, man. I'm personally happy that somebody went for door 3. You know, I'm a complete casual amateur professional when it comes to speedrunning Mario 3, but I always go for door 3. Don't be soft. Get down it. So I'm pretty happy that we got that. Alrighty. So make sure you all haven't already. Make sure you give Stewie Cartman a follower. A follow. He's getting up that leaderboard, yo. You know, in the 52s in Mario 3, 80% Warpless is pretty doggone impressive, if you ask me. So make sure you know what? Yeah, that's what you're doing this. All right, so coming up next, you all, it looks like it's probably gonna be our final. I was brushing my teeth, you know. When you sit here up a long time, you know, your breath sometimes get a little tart. So, here's an electric toothbrush. This lovely electric toothbrush from Colgate. Whoever it is, Spin Brush, somebody. Acme, Tyco. Alright, so coming up next, you all, it looks like it's going to be possibly the final game of the event. We have Sonic Mania Plus coming up. Running the, we'll just call it, low percent. How about that? Yeah. Bad inning sounds so not, you know, being the last game of the event, you don't want to have a bad ending. Maybe we'll just call it Sonic Emeraldless. You know, that's too long of a word. That's too long of a word for this time of night. Sonic, yes. Sonic win the game. And Sonic, however he feels like completing it. We have Rafflemere going to get that done as well. Make sure that Rafflemere is all